The Pope's cause of death was confirmed. Pete Hegseth angrily defended himself from a fresh controversy, and you could catch a glimpse of a meteor shower this week. That's some of what we'll get to on The 7 from The Washington Post. I'm Rennie Svirnovsky, in for Hannah Jewell. It's Tuesday, April 22nd. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Pope Francis's death yesterday morning was as much of a shock as it was foretold. What you just heard were bells ringing in Vatican City on Monday as mourners gathered in St. Peter's Square. The Pope had almost died twice during a 38-day hospitalization for double pneumonia in February, but a certain willful optimism had spread among his supporters after his release on March 23rd. The Pope was ordered to rest and avoid crowds, yet as he had always suggested he would, he pressed on. His last public appearance was with thousands of faithful in St. Peter's Square on Easter Sunday. Yesterday, Vatican officials attributed the cause of death to a cerebral stroke and heart failure. The announcement of his death sent Catholics into mourning worldwide, and world leaders paid tribute to Francis. Here's President Trump praising Pope Francis yesterday at the White House Easter egg roll.
I just signed an executive order putting the flags of our country, all of them, all federal flags and state flags, at half-mast in honor of Pope Francis. So he was a good man, worked hard, he loved the world, and it's an honor to do that.
This morning, the Vatican announced that Francis's funeral will take place on Saturday. And names are already circulating ahead of the conclave to select the next pope. In our newsletter today, you can find a list of the 11 key contenders. As usual, just follow the link in our show notes. President Donald Trump dismissed a deepening controversy surrounding Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. That's number 2. Hegseth is overseeing seismic dysfunction within the Pentagon, with numerous recent firings and reports of political infighting. The turmoil deepened this weekend after the New York Times reported that he shared highly sensitive details of an imminent military operation in a Signal group chat that included his wife, brother, and lawyer. At least one Republican lawmaker called into question how long Trump's affection for his increasingly isolated cabinet pick will last. But yesterday, at the White House Easter egg roll, Hegseth defended himself, and he sounded pretty heated.
See, this is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me.
Publicly, Trump is standing by his controversial defense secretary. Yesterday, he told reporters he thinks Hegseth is doing a, quote, great job. Number 3 is a Post exclusive. The Justice Department agreed to let DOJ access sensitive immigration case data. The Justice Department has a system to store records of immigrants who have interacted with the U.S. immigration system. It details their names, addresses, and any history of engagement with law enforcement. Documents obtained by the Post show that representatives of the U.S. DOJ service received permission last week to access the system. It's the latest attempt by the Trump administration to claw deeper into troves of federal data to advance Trump's aggressive deportation efforts. The DOJ team's tactics have alarmed legal experts and privacy watchdogs, as well as employees across the federal government. Harvard University sued the Trump administration in federal court yesterday. That's number 4. This was the latest move in an escalating feud between the nation's wealthiest university and the Trump administration. In a court filing, Harvard argued that government actions, including freezing $2.2 billion in federal funding, violated the First Amendment and didn't follow legal procedures. It's seeking to block the funding freeze. That freeze came after Harvard refused the Trump administration's demands to upend its hiring, admissions, and governance, and submit to years-long federal oversight of multiple aspects of its operations. Meanwhile, the Education Department made an important announcement yesterday. It said it will resume seizing people's wages for student loan debt on May 5th, ending a 5-year pause on involuntary collections. Number 5. The Trump administration is planning to phase out synthetic food dyes. Today, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is set to reveal steps to remove petroleum-based dyes from the food supply. It's part of his Make America Healthy Again plan to tackle chronic disease and childhood illness. Kennedy has often claimed that food makers have been allowed to, quote, mass poison American children.
If you eat a McDonald's French fry in this country, it has 11 ingredients. You eat the same product in Europe, it has 3. We are allowing these companies, because their influence over this body, over our regulatory agencies, to mass poison American children. And that's wrong. It needs to end. And I believe I'm the one person who's able to end it.
He met last month with food industry executives and expressed a strong desire to remove synthetic color additives from the food supply. In mid-January, the FDA under President Joe Biden moved to ban red dye number 3. That's a controversial bright red dye used in drinks and snacks that had been linked to cancer in animals. The FDA maintained that there was no evidence that ingesting the coloring causes cancer in humans. A barrage of storms is expected to hit the central United States this week. That's number 6. After an Easter weekend of severe weather across portions of Arkansas, Missouri, and western Illinois, more stormy weather is expected in the region this week, hitting parts of the southern plains with back-to-back rotating thunderstorms and hail up to hen egg size. Rural West Texas and the High Plains will be the hardest hit early in the week. After that, severe thunderstorms are expected to hit the south-central United States, with a chance of tornadoes in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. And on the East Coast, it's about to feel like summer after an unusually cool start to April. And at number 7, the Lyrid meteor shower is lighting up the sky this week. The second meteor shower of 2025 will continue through Saturday. It peaked last night, but you should still be able to catch the show, as long as clouds don't get in the way. NASA provides a simple tip for properly taking in the show. Lie flat on your back with your feet facing east and look up, taking in as much of the sky as possible. No equipment is needed other than your eyes. Just get comfy in the darkest location you can and allow a half hour for your eyes to become properly attuned to the lack of light. All right, you are all caught up. But before you go, you should check out Post Reports, our afternoon news podcast. The latest episode examines the legacy of Pope Francis with Anthony Fiola, the Post's Rome bureau chief. Find Post Reports wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Rennie Svirnovsky. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.
My name is Tom Sietsema, and I am the food critic for The Washington Post. I think a lot of great restaurant meals are like great books, films, or concerts. You don't necessarily need them to live, but don't they make life more worth living? I see myself as sort of a reader advocate going in there, spending the Post's money, coming back and giving you the green light, yield sign, or a stop sign. I like to be seen as sort of the best friend who happens to eat out a lot more than they do. I eat in about 10 restaurants a week. And I like creating memories for people and helping them create memories, whether those are first date, a 50th anniversary, grandma's 90th birthday, if you have special needs, whether they're dietary or otherwise. When you subscribe to The Washington Post, you support this kind of journalism. Learn more at subscribe.washingtonpost.com. I'm Tom Sietsema, and I'm one of the people behind the Post.